Hello and welcome to a new episode on Sadhana World Foundation. As you know, we care about crafting young lives by imparting them moral education. We dip into the lessons in history and our folk tales and present them in the form of short stories which our young people can observe and draw some lessons and which would help them in strengthening their moral compass. We help them become stronger and better human beings. Today I'm going to present to you a story, a fictional story written by Subhadra Sengupta, a renowned author of our current times, whose storybooks are many. Some of her stories have been adapted into television serials. So typically she writes her stories in the Mughal rule in India. Today's story is something similar. So it's a story in the city of Lucknow where there is a food stall owned by a person called Qadir, and his son Sadiq is helping him in that food business. One day, one Nawab of the city comes into the food stall and asks the child Sadiq, "Where is your father?" So the father comes out, Qadir, and he says that, "Hey, I have heard that you cook very well, and I would like to know which dish do you cook the best." So this was happening out of the blue, not expected at all. Qadir Mia said, "I cook dal the best." The Nawab was surprised. Dal? In Lucknow, you are talking about dal the best? You are not talking about biryani, you are not talking about firni, you are not talking about the traditional dishes which are so popular. Lucknow is known for it. He said, "Nawab, you asked me, what do I cook the best? I cook the dal the best. You should taste my dal and figure out whether this is something which you have tasted in the past." The Nawab was surprised. Nawab said, "Okay, go ahead. Let's try." He said, "You have to order. You have to ask me to make it for you. I don't prepare dal every day. I prepare regular food every day. Dal is not the regular food that I prepare." He said, "That's surprising. I mean, I have come to taste a food and you are saying that you will prepare it. Okay, go ahead, do it." He says, No, it takes 1 day to prepare the dal." That surprises the Nawab further. Then he explains that it is the urad dal, urad dal will be used, and the spices are special and the spices take time to prepare. So Nawab was further surprised and had no other way. He was in a good mood. He said, "Okay, all right, you take time and serve me tomorrow. Uh, send your dal over to my palace when your dal is ready." Now Qadir, the cook, says, "My dal has to be eaten hot and has to be served as soon as it is taken out from that oven." The Nawab is further surprised. He says, "Okay, let me know when your dal is ready. I will come and I will have it." Then Qadir rises to say, "Nawab, there is one more condition, that you have to arrive as soon as the dal is ready. I will send you the message that the dal is ready. You need to come as soon as possible." Nawab says, "If I get late, what happens?" He says, "The dal loses the taste, so I distribute amongst the poor." That's another condition. The Nawab was not used to getting such conditions from the cooks. but the Nawab agrees. So the preparation goes on. The next day, the dal gets ready in the special process and elaborate process of preparing the spices. The Qadir and Sadiq go to the market, buy the ingredients, they prepare it, and all the preparation gets ready. The dal is ready. So Sadiq goes running to the Nawab's palace and informs the Nawab that, Nawab, Your Majesty, the dal is ready. Please come over. The Nawab says, okay, I'll come. Ask your father to wait. I'm flying kite with my friends. I have some guests over. So that's another challenge. Sadiq knows that his father gets terribly angry if his conditions are not met. Even if it is the Badshah, forget about the Nawab, even if it's the Badshah, he could get angry and he could throw the dal away or he could just distribute, he won't care. But Sadiq, the son, is a wise boy. He knows that if the Nawab is happy with the dish that his father cooks, then there could be bounties waiting for their family and their future will be taken care. Father gets angry, he knows. So he sees the reward in front of him. He also sees the risk in front of him. And the Nawab is deeply engrossed in flying kite. He cannot keep on interrupting the Nawab again and again. So now he starts thinking, how can he deal with the current situation? He looks around. He sees that in Lucknow, the culture of flying kite is quite prevalent. So he goes to his friend's house nearby and he sees that his friend's father and his friend are flying kite as well. He has figured out which kite is the Nawab's kite. And then he goes and tells his friend that, hey, the Nawab's kite is this blue one. Can you cut this kite? You are an expert kite flyer, so why don't you try this? So the friend doesn't get into details to figure out why they have to cut the Nawab's kite, and if the Nawab's kite gets cut, what are the implications, etc. They don't get into the details. They are all engrossed in the sport of flying kites. So Nawab's kite gets cut, and the Sadiq comes running back to the Nawab's palace again and says that my father has sent me again to remind you the dal could get cold, so we need to rush. Nawab was fortunately not in a very bad mood. He thought that, okay, the kite is gone, so he should try the dal, which seems to be holding a lot of promise. So he goes, he sits there, they serve the food. And of course, the food is extremely tasty. And the Nawab says that, hey, I have never tasted this kind of dal. So special. Now you ask, what do you want as a gift, as a reward from me? Of course, Sadiq's father asks for a bigger shop and the wish is granted. So that's the story. So the story is Dal Delight. Dal Delight. So with a simple dal, you could delight somebody's heart and mind and win the rewards. So what does this story tell us? It's a very short story, interesting story, written very well by Subhadra Sengupta. I would recommend that you read the story, which is a slightly longer version. I presented the gist of it. But what's the lesson in it? For me, there are two lessons here. Very interesting, deep lessons. One, the person knew what the specialty is. He was not confused with what other chefs cook. Of course, he cooked a number of other items, right from kebabs to biryanis to everything. But he chose the dal to be the specialty of his. And he doesn't offer the specialty every now and then. It's really special. This is exquisite. So it's like special. It is presented in such a way. It is positioned in such a way that the specialty is prepared for the royalty. So the lesson here is that if I can find that specialty in me, I will have a special position wherever I go. In this hyper competitive world that we live in, we need to have our specialisms. If we focus on one particular aspect of the entire ecosystem, then we could be expert in that particular area. Earlier, we used to say that heart specialists. Now we are talking about super specialties within the discipline or within the faculty of cardiology. And there are super specialists emerging. That's the direction in which our world is going. So for young people, those who are building their tomorrow, their future, they need to focus on this specialty. Though the story has been written in the 1980s or 90s, it teaches a lesson which is not only valid in 2020s, 2030s, 2040s, 2050s maybe. So that's lesson number one. Know your specialties, develop the expertise, and nurture that. That's the point the story is saying. And the second one is about when you are confronted with challenges, like Sadiq was. In fact, Sadiq is the hero of this story. That Sadiq was confronted with a set of rewards and a set of risk. He knew that if his father gets angry, all that efforts will go for waste, and his father won't care. And the reward was that if the Nawab becomes happy with the food, the Nawab has got a track record of rewarding handsomely when he is happy. So the reward is lying right in front of you. The risk is lying in front of you. How do you balance it? He innovates, he thinks on his feet, and he works quickly. He doesn't really go and consult with number of people to develop a strategy to deal with it. He thinks on his feet, and he is able to balance the risk and the reward, and finally emerges victorious. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to really think on our feet and be quick, be agile. I think these are the two lessons that I see in this story. One, agility; second, expertise. I hope you like this story today and our conversation today. I look forward to our future conversations. Thank you very much.